Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Hare Bol. Thank you,
So
Mataji.
sorry, Mataji. So sorry to interrupt you. Thank you so much, Shobha Mataji. Our speaker has joined, so I had to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Hare Bol, Hare Krishna to all the devotees, pranams. And today, we all welcome together His Grace Bandhu Baldev Prabhu. He's our guest speaker today. And I'll just give little introduction about Prabhu. I know him since long because him and Mataji and children, all of them, the full family, because Prabhu is also staying in Dubai and we were also in Dubai. So a little introduction about Prabhu. Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He joined ISKCON in 2008, taken first initiation in 2013, and second initiation, which is the Brahminical initiation, in 2019. So Prabhu is based in Dubai, and Prabhu and Mataji both have taken care of their children in Krishna consciousness very well. So both of them are devotees, both daughter and son. And as I know about Prabhu, Prabhu is a very composed person. Always, I have seen in my days in Dubai that Prabhu is always busy in sevas, different services and preaching. So we know Prabhu for doing sevas and preaching. So we are really fortunate to listen from His Grace Bandhu Baldev Prabhu today. Hare Krishna Prabhu, pranam. Welcome to you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the kind words and nice catching up with you again. So yeah, we know Narayani Mataji and Rajat Prabhu. Prabhu is what is his initiated name, Mataji?
Prabhu Rajat only, Abhi.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So very lovely couple. And Kana, how is he, Mataji?
Yeah, fine, Prabhu. Very good.
How old is he?
He's 6 years old now.
6 years old. Jai ho. Time flies fast. So,
yeah, true.
Hare Krishna. So thanks to Mataji and my pranams to all the devotees who have joined. So for this class, and this is named as inner consciousness. Is it right, or what is this?
Inner Consciousness Forum, Prabhu, yeah.
Inner Consciousness Forum. Interesting name. Jai Ho, Hare Krishna. And thanks to all the devotees who have joined. So we are in the third canto and eighth chapter of Shrimad Bhagavatam, where we are discussing about the appearance, manifestation of Lord Brahma from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So let us proceed. So the manifestation, creation is always has always attracted mankind, and he has been fascinated. Mankind has been fascinated by creation, and it has given rise to a whole lot of theories. Whereas the Srimad Bhagavatam is the authentic version of the correct manifestation, and it also gives a very nice account, a very nice explanation of how even the different senses came into being, not only just the creation of the earth. And Srila Prabhupada always wanted Srimad Bhagavatam and the scriptural knowledge to be used when anyone wants to refer to the creation of the world, because whenever we hear the word creation, people always think about Darwin's theory and all those things, where it says that there was a huge explosion and everything fall into place. So when we think logically, we kind of come to know that Hare Krishna, I can see that Naimisha Mataji has raised her hands. Yes, Mataji?
Prabhu, it is for reading the shloka and translation. Actually, all the devotees, they are reading the shloka and translation, and if required, purport. So they are raising their hands. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Mataji has raised her.
Sure. So when we come to, when we know that this is not logical, but still, since it is presented by so-called scientists, we kind of accept them without questioning. Whereas Srila Prabhupada has explained very nicely, and it has come out in Srimad Bhagavatam, both in the second canto in a very detailed way, and in the third canto also. And there is a book by His Holiness Danavir Goswami Maharaj, who was mandated by Srila Prabhupada as a seva, as a service, to study this and then present it to the people in a way in which they can understand and then relate better. So yeah, before wasting much more time, let us go into today's shlokas. And before that, we will start with the pranam mantra. The pranam mantra is basically, it's a prayer with two parts. One is that part A, we are praying to the Lord and all the senior acharyas that please give me the intelligence for me to understand the shlokas which is going to be told today. And the second is that please give me the determination to implement the instructions which are given in the shlokas. So this is what is the essence of the pranam mantra. So let us start with the pranam mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiryayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So let us go into the first shloka for today. Third canto, 8th chapter, shloka number 26. So I will read once and then I will request Naimisha Chandrika Mataji to read it. Pum swam sakamaya vivakta margair abhyarchatam kama dugangri padmam Pradarshayantam Kripakanakendo Mayuka Binnanguli Charupatram. Hare Krishna. Yes, Naimisha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Pumsam svakamaya viviktamagir abhyachatam kamam dughangri padmam pradarshyantam kripayana kalendu mayuka binnanguli charupatram.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. May I go, Prabhuji?
We need to read the word by word meanings also, Mataji, the synonyms.
Synonyms.
Yeah.
Pumsam, of the human being, swakamaya, according to the desire, vivikta margaihi, by the path of devotional service, abhyarchatam, worshipped, kama dugha angri padmam, the lotus feet of the Lord, which can award all the desired fruits. Padarshayantam, while showing them, kripaya, by causeless mercy, nakha, nails, indu, moon-like, mayukha, rays, bhinna, divided, anguli, fingers, charupatram, very beautiful.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord showed his lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service, free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship him in pure devotion. The splendor of the transcendental rays from his moonlight toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a flower. Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna. No, Mataji, we will give the opportunity to someone else also. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, the meaning of the shloka is that up to the previous shlokas, we saw that Brahmaji was trying to see and then he could not find, and then he started to meditate, and then now Lord himself is showing his lotus feet by raising his lotus feet. And of course, a description of his lotus feet is given, and then how are his nails, how is the fingernails, how is the toenails, all those wonderful descriptions are given. So let us try to understand more by reading the purport. I think I request Prashanti Mataji to read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord fulfills the desires of everyone just as one desires. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of the Lord, which is non-different from him. Therefore, the Lord is the only desire of pure devotees, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving his favor. Srila Rupa Goswami says in his Bhaktarasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 that pure devotional service is jnana karmadi Anavritam. Pure devotional service is without any tinge of speculative knowledge and fruitive activities. Such devotional service is able to award the pure devotee the highest result, namely direct association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. According to Gopala Tapani Upanishad, the Lord showed one of the many thousands of petals of his lotus feet. It is said, Brahmano asva anavritam me dhyayatah stutah paradhyante. So बुध्यता गोपवेशो में पुरस्तात आविर्भावुः. After penetrating for millions of years, Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of the Lord as Sri Krishna in the dress of a cowherd boy, and thus he recorded his experience in the Brahma Samhita in the famous prayer Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. So, so we see in this shloka that Lord Krishna is raising his lotus feet and then he is showing them. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that like a petal has, like a flower has a lot of petals, lotus flower has a lot of petals. He just showed one of his toes. That is what is explained in the purport also. One of the many thousand petals of his lotus feet. So what we need to understand is that if we want to see the Lord, so the we don't Krishna consciousness, we don't carry products in a suitcase. So we are basically explaining the concept of Lord Krishna, devotional service to him, and then going back home, back to his Godhead, to his lotus feet. So this is something which has to be experienced and which cannot be shown or which cannot be demonstrated. So in such a case, we need to be aware as to what exactly do we want to see. So most of us, we would like to see the Lord. Chamatkar ko namaskar. But for seeing the Lord, what is it that we need to do? So we, if we see the evolution of religion, so it has come in a very long way, and one of the evolutionary process, there are 4 types of yoga which is described in the scriptures. We have karma yoga, we have jnana yoga, we have dhyana yoga, and we have bhakti yoga. So when it comes to karma yoga, there are 4 sub-branches. There are 4 branches also. There are 4 parts: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So sometimes it is also called karma kanda in Vedic terms, in Vedic literature. So it says that first we do a lot of pious activities, dharma, and then artha means due to those pious activities, we get wealth. That is the second step. Then the third step is kama, means we enjoy all those wealth. And then when we are given up, when we become frustrated with enjoying the wealth, dharma, artha, kama, then the last step is moksha. We start thinking about liberation. So when we start thinking about liberation, we get into devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. So this is karma yoga. And another way of explaining that is that Lord Krishna has explained it in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that as far as Kali Yuga is concerned, karma yoga means doing your activities but giving up the results to Lord Krishna. The disadvantage with this process is that it is very slow because of 2 things. One is that the transition from kama to moksha in Kali Yuga never happens. So we never get, we are never satisfied with whatever we have, with whatever we enjoy. We always need more. So this transition from kama to moksha does not happen. Second is that even if we take based on this karma yoga, when we surrender whatever we do, even if we surrender the result to Lord, over a period of time, that mentality slowly wanes away. And we start thinking that whatever we have done, it is because of my ability, it is because of my intelligence, so on and so forth. So that is the difficulty with karma yoga. Then the next step is the jnana yoga. Jnana yoga means we understand the Lord and then we surrender to Him. So we understand the Lord by completely knowing Him, and then we surrender to Him. So this is practically impossible in Kali Yuga, or in any yuga for that matter, particularly in Kali Yuga where our lives are short. So let us say that we will read all the scriptures. We think that we will read all the scriptures and understand Lord Krishna. So I would like to ask one question. So let all of us know that there are 4 Vedas. Any guess as to how many shlokas are there in the 4 Vedas put together? Any guess? Any numbers? So we are now talking about Jnana Yoga, which is about understanding the Lord and then serving Him and then surrendering to Him. So the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvana Veda. Yes, Anita Mataji, you want to answer? Hare Krishna.
It's just a guess. I don't know. Maybe it's 100 lakh.
No, Mataji, it is too much. So it is 55,000 shlokas. So Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, Atharvana Veda, 4 put together, there are 55,000 shlokas. So we have 700 shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. So it takes approximately 3 years to properly read and understand it one time. And we have around 12,000 shlokas in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Probably it will take generations. So we have to see as to how many generations we will need to read and understand 55,000 shlokas. So it is not possible. And then the next is Dhyana Yoga. And Dhyana Yoga is meditating on the Lord, on the impersonal form of the Lord. So not for a very long time, just for 10,000 years. So this was done in Satya Yoga. So basically, we need to understand that these processes are not practically feasible in Kali Yuga. And so the only process which is actually possible is Bhakti Yoga, which is what is being practiced by ISKCON, which was not developed by ISKCON. It was propagated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then popularized, brought into this world, and he has given a movement. Srila Prabhupada has given a movement in which this bhakti yoga, devotion service can actually be done. So we were discussing about what is our desire and then how to achieve. So all of us want to see the Lord. All of us want to have darshan of the Lord. So the Lord, Brahma says in Brahma Samhita, so you can see that in the last line of this purport. So it is very nicely mentioned that Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of the Lord as Krishna, and thus he recorded his experience in the Brahma Samhita. So when we saw in this previous shloka till now that Lord Brahma could not understand anything after he was manifested. He could not do anything, but then he was meditating for 1,000 years, and then he started. He got this information which was given. He was shared to his intelligence directly by Lord, and then gradually he came to know about his position. So he describes in the Brahma Samhita as to how, if we try to understand the Lord by our own intelligence, by reading different scriptures, it is not possible. But if we serve his devotees, if we serve him and his devotees, it is very easily possible. So that is one of the shlokas which is coming in Brahma Samhita, which Srila Prabhupada has referred to in the last line of this purport. So that shloka says, Advaitam achyutam anadi mananta rupam adyam purana purusham navayauvanam cha vedeshu durlabha madurlabhamatma bhaktau govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he says, Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau. Vedeshu durlabham. Durlabham means difficult. Vedeshu means by reading and understanding the scriptures. So if someone thinks that I can understand Lord Krishna, I can know him by reading and understanding the scriptures, Lord Brahma himself says Durlabham. It means he is saying Durlabham, practically it means impossible. Vedeshu Durlabham. Then the second half of the line he says Adurlabham Atma Bhaktau. Adurlabham is the opposite of difficult. So Adurlabham means easy. How it is easy? Atma Bhaktau. So Atma means wholeheartedly. If you serve Lord and his devotees, it is very easy. So how to serve the Lord and his devotees? So the way to serve the Lord and his devotees is that to chant his holy names and then to follow the 4 regulative principles. So this is like when we are admitted in a, let us say that when we have diabetes or sugar, when we go to a doctor, no doctor will say that you keep on eating sugar, I will just give the medicine. No, that is not the way it works. The doctor will say, I will give you medicine, but you have to follow so and so restrictions, A, B, C restrictions you have to follow. So Bhakti Marga, attaining the Lord, is also in the same way. So it is called as pravritti and nivritti, do's and don'ts. Pravritti is positive, do's. Nivritti is negative, don't. So as far as positive is concerned, we need to chant the holy names of the Lord. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when we chant 108 times, so it is taken as one mala, and when we chant 16 times, it is called, we are chanting 1728 times. So when the minimum which has been prescribed is 16 times. So actually Srila Prabhupada has given a concession. So when the ISKCON movement was started, it was 64 rounds. Then the devotees said that, Swamiji, how is it possible to chant 64 rounds, which will take around 8 hours? So I can do only this. So when Haridas Thakur, who is considered as Namacharya, so he used to chant 192 rounds per day. So which is practically all the full day. So when Srila Prabhupada started, then he started with 64 rounds. Then when devotees said that it is not possible, he reduced it to 32 and then to 16, and then he said no further reduction. So you can think that how is it that Srila Prabhupada can do this? So it is mentioned in the devotional practice that Srila Prabhupada is Sakti Avesh Avatar. So a person who has So encircled the globe 14 times in 6 years at the age of 70, coming with 40 rupees in his hand, is a real Sakti Avesh avatar. The Lord has given him energy to spread his message. So he kept at 16 rounds. So pravritti is that we need to chant 16 rounds a day. And then nivritti is that 4 regulative principles. Why the 4 regulative principles are required? So that we maintain the purity. It is like the medicine. So one is that we need to take the medicine. Second is that we need to avoid eating more sugar. So like that, here the 4 regulative principles are the things which we need to avoid. It is mentioned in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 17th chapter. You all would have already seen it, that these 4 regulative principles are the 4 sins on which Kali Yuga is standing. So avoiding meat eating, avoiding illicit sex, avoiding gambling, and avoiding intoxication. These are the 4 regulative principles. So the purpose of these 4 regulative principles is to keep us purified, so that this chanting has an effect. If you don't follow the 4 regulative principles, if you keep on chanting, it will not have any effect. If you just follow the regulative principles but don't chant, that will also not have any effect. Only if we keep chanting and then following the 4 regulative principles, we will continuously progress in the devotional service. So that is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. So when we do Bhakti Yoga, when we do wholeheartedly, what happens? Adurlabham Atma Bhakta, Lord Krishna reveals himself. So the same thing has happened here. So we have Lord Krishna revealing himself to by just showing his lotus feet. So what we need to understand is that if you want to have darshan of Lord Krishna, we need to wholeheartedly serve him. So let us go to the next shloka, which is shloka number 27, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, shloka number 27. So I will read once. Mukena lokarti harasmitena parisfurat kundala manditena sonaitena dharabimba basa pratyarhayantam sonasena suburva. Can I request Vasudha Mataji to read the shloka and the meaning and the translation?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Can you scroll up?
Yes,
Mukhena loharit harti harasmitena parispurat kundala manditena sonayitena dhara bimbapasa pratyarhayantam sunasena subruva. Synonyms. Mukhena, by a gesture of the face. Loka arati hara, vanquisher of the distress of the devotees. Smitena, by smiling. Parispurat, dazzling. Kundala, earrings. Manditena, decorated with. Sonayitena, acknowledging. Adhara, of his lips. Bimba, reflection. Bhasa, race. Pratyarhayantam, reciprocating. Sunasena, by his pleasing nose. Subriva, and pleasing eyebrows. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. He also acknowledged the service of the devotees and vanquished their distress by his beautiful smile. The reflection of his face, decorated with earrings, was so pleasing because it dazzled with the rays from his lips and the beauty of his nose and eyebrows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, Lord Krishna, so very nicely, he acknowledged the service of the devotees, and also just by smile, smitten. So the smitten means his smile is so attractive. So just by his smile, what happens? Whatever anxiety the devotees have, everything gets vanquished. So this is the quality of the darshan of the Lord. So I now request Sudha Mataji to read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, Mataji.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Devotional service to the Lord is very much obliging to Him. There are many transcendentalists in different fields of spiritual activities, but devotional service to the Lord is unique. Devotees do not ask anything from the Lord in exchange for their service. Even the most desirable liberation is refused by devotees, although offered by the Lord. Thus, the Lord becomes a kind of debtor to the devotees, and he can only try to repay the devotee's service with his ever enchanting smile. The devotees are ever satisfied by the smiling face of the Lord, and they become enlivened. And by seeing the devotees so enlivened, the Lord himself is further satisfied. So there is continuous transcendental competition between the Lord and his devotees by such reciprocation of service and acknowledgement. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains that the exchange between Lord Krishna and his devotees is a kind of a transcendental competition. So when the devotees serve the Lord, we don't ask for anything. And actually, this is what is one of the main requirements, that when we go and pray in front of the Lord, we need to remember that we should not ask for anything which is material. The only thing which we should ask, this is told by several sannyasis many times, is that the only thing which we should pray when we go in front of the Lord is that, oh Lord, please put me in your service. So anything else which we ask, we don't know whether what we are asking is good for us or not. So I remember that when one senior devotee came to our residence in Dubai, he was giving a class, and then at the end of the class, he was telling about if we pray for something from the bottom of our heart, and if it happens, how disturbing it can be to us. So he was telling that he is a senior devotee in Mayapur, Sridham Mayapur, and Sridham Mayapur is 3.5 kilometers, 3.5 hours away from Kolkata, approximately 150 kilometers, 3.5 hours drive. And his family, he was going along with his family from Mayapur to Kolkata, and he had a flight to catch to Chennai somewhere at around 7 in the morning, and he had left Sridham Mayapur at around 2 o'clock, and the airport is on the outskirts. If you leave Mayapur by around 2 o'clock, we reach the airport somewhere between 5:30. And his son, when they were in the car going from Mayapur to Kolkata, he said that, Daddy, Papa, it will be nice if we could have some prasadam from Govindas and then take the flight. So Prabhuji said that what happened was that there was a huge traffic jam just before the outskirts of Kolkata, and it was so huge that they could not catch the flight, and they had to stay in Kolkata for the next day flight to catch the next day flight same time. So that day dinner, next day morning breakfast, the next day lunch, they had to have in Govindas, and then the next day dinner they packed from Govindas and then took it to the flight. So he said that his son, this is what he wanted and this is what happened. So he said that never ask for anything material from the Lord, because when we actually get it, we don't know whether that is what we wanted. So all the sannyasis always used to say that when we go in front of the Lord, just ask that, please put me in your service. That's the only thing which we need to ask. So here in this purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that devotees do not ask anything from the Lord for their service. So since devotees do not ask anything, it is said even liberation is refused by devotees. There is a wonderful shloka by Vritasura, which is coming in the 6th canto, 11th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavatam. There are 4 shlokas, 24 to 27, in which one of the shlokas, it says, Nanaka Prashtam Nachapara Meshtem Nasarva Bhaumam Narasadhipatyam. He says that I don't want any followers, I don't want liberation if I have to leave your lotus feet. He says that I even don't want liberation if I have to leave your lotus feet. So that is the bhava of pure devotees, that they just want, we just want to be in the service of Lord Krishna. And so what happens when the devotees serve Lord Krishna? Prabhupada explains that the Lord becomes a debtor by taking his service. So it's a very nice way, a very transcendental way of explaining Lord Krishna's position. And so how Lord Krishna repays the debt? By just smiling, by his transcendental smile. So by his one smile, all our anxiety goes away. So when what happens? When the devotees see the smile of the Lord, smile means when we take darshan of the Lord, we become more energized. So we become more enthusiastic to do more service. So Hare Krishna. So when we do more service, it becomes like a cycle and a competition. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that this is like a transcendental competition. So let us go into the next shloka, which is shloka number 28, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, shloka number 28. Kadamba kinjal kapisanga vasasa swalankritam me kalaya nitambe harena chananta dhanena vatsa srivatsa vaksha stalavallabhena. So can I request Shobha Mataji to read the shloka and the synonyms? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji and Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Number 3.8.28. Kadamba kinchalaka pisanga vasasa svalam kritam me kalaya nitambe harena chananta dhanena vatsa srivatsa vakshaha stalavalla dhena. Synonyms and translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kadamba kinchalka, saffron dust of the Kadamba flowers. Pisanga, dress of the color. Vasasa, by clothing. Su alankritam, well decorated. Mekhalaya, by the belt. Nitambe, on the waist. Harena, by the garland. Cha, also. Ananta, highly. Dhanena, valuable. Vatsa, my dear Vitura. Srivatsa, of the transcendental marking. Vakshaha stala, on the chest. Vallabhena, very pleasing. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Oh my dear Vitura, the Lord's waist was covered with yellow colored, resembling the saffron dust of the Kadamba flower, and it was encircled by a well-decorated belt. His chest was decorated with the Srivatsa marking and a necklace of the unlimited value. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is a very nice description of the appearance of the Lord with and what was his dress, and then what was his belt, and about his Srivatsa. So if about this Srivatsa, so one of I have listened to many lectures by the sannyasis. And we see that there are so many people who are claiming to be God in today's world. And Srila Prabhupada and the sannyasis used to say that if somebody claims that they are a Lord, so ask them to demonstrate that their chest is having a Srivatsa marking. So when the Lord appears, so he has a lot of markings in different places of his body, including his lotus feet. And the Srivatsa mark is one of the prominent marks. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that if someone says that I am the God, ask him to show the Srivatsa mark, not with a tattoo or any sticker, but which is actually embedded on the skin. So ask him to show the Srivatsa mark. So that is one of the marks which is explained in this particular shloka. And yellow cloth, we all have seen the darshan of the Lord in his photographs. So Pitambara Vastra, when he has this color, and then the color of the yellow cloth is like the saffron dust of the Kadamba flower. So such a nice description even on the shade of the yellow cloth, and it was encircled by a well-decorated belt. So all these descriptions, we need to understand it is being given in the scriptures so that what we see as Shama Sundara in the photograph is not an imagination. It is a real form of Lord Krishna. It is a real personal rupa which has been brought about, which has been described in the scriptures, and which is being brought forth in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, so that we all know that what is being explained is not an imagination, it's a real form of the Lord. So many people think about the Nirakarvadis, that formless and all those things. So when we see all this, when we understand, when we go through the meaning of the shlokas, the thing which we need to understand and then keep it in our heart is that the form of the Lord which we are seeing is a real form. Just because we have not seen it, it doesn't mean that it does not exist. It is existing, and it is brought about very nicely in the scriptures. So this is shloka number 28. So we will go to the next shloka, which is shloka number 29. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, shloka number 29. So we have still a few more devotees who I can see they have raised their hands. So I would request Rasarangini Mataji to read the shloka and the synonym, and translation and purport we will give the opportunity to someone. So Rasarangini Mataji, you can read the shloka and the synonyms. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Parardhya ke yara mani praveka paryastadot tanda sahasra sakam avyaktamulam bhuvanagri pendram ahindra bhoge adivita valsham. Hare Krishna. Parardhya, very valuable. Keyura, ornaments. Mani praveka, highly valuable jewels. Paryastha, disseminating. Durdanda, arms. Sahasra sakam, with thousands of branches. Avyakta moolam, self-situated. Bhuvana, universal. Angiripa, trees. Indram, the Lord. Ahi, Indra, Ananta Deva. Bogai, by hoods. Adivita, surrounded. Valsham, shoulders. Valsham, shoulders. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is a very another description of the Lord which we are going to see. So I can see that we have many devotees, and unfortunately this is the last shloka, and I would request Krishnamurti to read the translation and Sindhu Mataji to read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Translation by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. As a sandalwood tree is decorated with fragrant flowers and branches, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. He was the self-situated tree, the Lord of all others in the universe. And as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, so the Lord's body was also covered by the hoods of Ananta. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So it is said here, the explanation, the example which is given is like a sandalwood tree, which is decorated with a lot of flowers and branches. So similarly, the Lord's body was decorated with valuable jewels and pearls. And it is also mentioned that avyakta moolam. So this word is coming in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, where the Lord is self-situated. So he doesn't need any other support for him to manifest or for him to exist or for him to do anything. So everything, whatever is needed, is available within himself. And that is what is called as avyakta moolam. And then as a sandalwood tree is covered with many snakes, the Lord's body is covered by the hood of Ananta. So sandalwood tree, since it has a very nice smell, it is attracting snakes. And similarly, the Lord's body was covered by the hoods of Ananta. So I request Sindhu Mataji to read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Shurji.
Yes,
Purport by Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word avyakta moolam is significant here. Generally, no one can see the roots of a tree, but as far as the Lord is concerned, he is the root of himself, because there is no other separate cause of his standing but he himself. In the Vedas, it is said that the Lord is Vashraya. He is his own support and there is no support for him. Therefore, avyakta means the Supreme Lord himself and no one else. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, avyakta moolam. So, if in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there is a wonderful description which is given about this world, material world. It is said that the material world is an upside down tree. And what we are seeing in this world is the tree which is above the ground, and the roots are actually upwards in the heavenly planets, in the Goloka Vrindavan. So that is how the world is, avyakta moolam. So the root of the tree we can never see. So like that, the origin of the universe, which is basically coming from the Lord. So the Lord says, aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. So everything generates from me. So it is practically not possible to go and see the roots. So, but he is self-situated. The Lord is self-situated. The word which is mentioned in the purport, swa, ashraya, ashraya. Swa means own, shelter of his shelter. So he doesn't need any separate shelter. So he is his own shelter. So which means that the Lord is Atmaram. So it is mentioned in the Shrimad Bhagavatam in several places that Atmaramascha munayo nirgrantha api urukrami. So this is coming in the Shrimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 7th chapter, shloka number 10. So Atmaram means someone who is self-satisfied. He doesn't need anyone else to satisfy him. He doesn't need anything else to get satisfied. Similarly, he is also Swa Ashraya Ashraya. His shelter of his own shelter means he doesn't need anyone else to support him. So in these 4 shlokas, we have seen that Lord Krishna raises his lotus feet. And it was not, and it is very nicely mentioned in the purport that it was like a lotus petal has many, lotus flower has many petals. He just lifted one petal of his lotus feet, and then he gave the darshan. And when the lotus feet is seen, what happens? We forget all our anxieties, all our worries when we take darshan of the Lord. And this was also explained as a transcendental competition in the shloka number 27 purport. Then when we came to shloka number 28 and 29, it's a very nice description which is happening, which has been given about the appearance, the dress of the Lord, and then his nice jewels and necklaces. And coming to this shloka again, so another description has been given about how he is Swa Ashraya, which means his origin and support is within himself. He doesn't need anyone else. So when we have seen such a nice description about the Lord, about his appearances, about his dress, and about his qualities, guna, name, form, pastimes, and qualities. So we need to understand that all this has been told in Shrimad Bhagavatam, not for us to try to go into the depths and then try to understand each and everything. Srila Prabhupada used to say that don't try to break your head and understand the creation or all these things. Just remember that Bhakti Yoga means Narada Pancharatrika Vidhi. There are 5 limbs of Bhakti Yoga. What are the 5 limbs of Bhakti Yoga? Chanting the holy names of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, then being in the association of devotees, then reading the scriptures and understanding them in the association of devotees, not alone, not sitting in our home. Then 4th, accepting the food which is offered as bhoga to the Lord. And then the 5th, either serving the Lord in his dham or doing deity service in our home with altar or whatever it is. So these are the 5 limbs which are called as Panchanga Vidhi, which is mentioned in Narada Pancharatrika. So Srila Prabhupada has given an institution for us to very nicely practice all these 5 limbs of devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada said, even 50 years ago when the movement was established, that when you follow these things on a practical way, in not out of lamentation, in a very wholehearted way, Srila Prabhupada said that I guarantee that we go back home, back to Godhead. You can go back home, back to Godhead in the same life. So as simple as that, all we need to do to have this darshan of the Lord in the way in which it has been nicely described in these 4 shlokas is that do the devotional service and then make our family also be in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. So I can see that there are a few more devotees who have raised their hands, but unfortunately, since we have only 4 shlokas, only as many translation and purport. So I offer my apologies for not being able to give them the opportunity to read the shloka or the purport. So these are the 4 shlokas which we saw today. And we need to remember that if you want to take darshan of the Lord, if you want to serve, if you want to attain the lotus feet of the Lord, which was described in these 4 shlokas, we just need to remember that we need to do the Panchanga Vidhi wholeheartedly in this Kali Yuga, and then go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari
Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you for this enlightening session. Thanks for also accepting our invitation, Prabhu. And we all want to hear from you again in this forum. So please give us
Thank
your
you, Mataji.
association. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, if you
Hare
allow,
Krishna, Mataji.
can we ask devotees for the questions, if they have any or comments?
Sure, Mataji, sure. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So devotees, if you have any question, okay. Vasudha Mataji, is it for question or is it for reading? Your hand is raised. Okay. Suma Mataji, yes.
Mama.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Mataji.
You said at the last, there are 5 limbs of devotion. We should not sit and read alone in the house. So I am doing that, Prabhuji, thinking that that will save me. So is it wrong, Prabhuji?
Okay, no, it doesn't mean that you should not read alone. It means that reading alone will not give us the realization, will not give us the understanding which is required. The Bhagavad Gita, Shrimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada always used to say that every house should have BSc. What is BSc? B stands for Bhagavad Gita, S stands for Srimad Bhagavatam, C stands for Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that in every house, BSc has to be there, and then we have to read it. We have to read it. That is one of the Nityam Sevaya. But the main reading, what we read alone is supplementary. The main reading has to happen in the association of devotees, so that we get the understanding, we get the realization. The correct understanding and the correct realization can be got only in the association of devotees. The reading which we are doing at our home is to support and supplement, and then to ensure that whatever we have read in the association of devotees is not forgotten. My spiritual master, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, used to say that what we use, we don't lose. What we don't use, we lose. So which means that, let us say we have read 4 shlokas today. We need to share it with people. It may be our friends, it may be our colleagues, it may be our family. So this reading which you are doing in your home, you can read it with your family so that you can share your realizations with them. But the primary reading, the first time reading and understanding, it has to be in the association of devotees, so that we get the right understanding and realization. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just to get the association of a pure devotee like Prabhupada. So in that mood, can we read, Prabhuji? Just to...
Of course, Mataji. Of course, Mataji, you can read. You can pray that, please give me the association of pure devotees to understand better. Yes, sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranams. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I saw that there was one more devotee who raised the hands.
Anyone else? Padma Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Now
Hare
the
Krishna.
reading with the devotees is also means now what we are doing in the morning, right? That's
Yes.
also reading the association of devotees, no, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
Yes, okay. Just want to clarify that, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Yes,
Dandavat Pranam.
Mataji. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to ask, like when you are always remembering Krishna, right? So we are always chanting, we are always... So what is the main significance of reading this?
Reading what,
because
Mataji?
essence of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, because essence of everything is Yuga Dharma, is chanting, right?
Yes.
So I just wanted to know.
Yuga Dharma is chanting. Yes, Mataji, Yuga Dharma is chanting. So when we chant the holy names of the Lord, we also need to understand the greatness of the Lord. So everybody says that if you go and ask anyone, they will say that the God is great. It's a very simple way. But how great he is? So Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, shloka number 29, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhridam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam shantim rachati. how great the Lord is. Bhoktaram. So whatever bhoga we are offering, the supreme enjoyer is Lord Krishna. Yajna tapasam. Whatever puja we are doing, whatever yajna we are doing, the karta, the receiver, is Lord Krishna. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The originator and controller of all the universes is Lord Krishna. Last but not the least, Suhurdam Sarva Bhutanam. Suhurd means well-wisher. Sarva Bhutanam means all the living entities. So I believe you are all based in Bangalore. I am based in, let us say, Dubai. And if somebody of my friends back in Chennai, they have a problem, will we leave our job and then go to Chennai and then help him? I will definitely not do that. So the Lord, he leaves his Goloka Dham, which is so beautiful. How beautiful it is? It is mentioned in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Pragarasatma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vriteshu Surabhi Rabipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Sadasambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Chintamani Prakara. So payment is not with 6x8 stone. It is paved with Chintamani. And then Kalpa Vriksha. The trees are not the palm trees or date trees which we see here. It is Kalpa Vriksha trees. And then Lakshmi Sahasra Sada Sambrama Sevyamanam. Sahasra means 1,000. Sada means 100. Hundreds of thousands, which means lakhs of Lakshmi are waiting to do service. Sahasra Sambrama Sevyamanam. So that Goloka Vrindavan, he leaves. Where does he come? He comes as Paramatma inside even a worm which is inside a stool. Why? Just to take back the worm back home, back to Godhead. So can anyone be a better well-wisher than Lord Krishna? So that is the greatness of Lord Krishna. So coming back to our discussion, the reason why this Panchanga Vidhi is specified is that, of course, the chanting the holy names of the Lord and then regulative principles is the basic. But to keep that, to understand the greatness of the Lord, we need to read the literatures. Bhagavad Gita is the sound form of the Lord. Shrimad Bhagavatam is the book form of the Lord. So when we read the Bhagavad Gita, when we read the Shrimad Bhagavatam, that is also a worship of the Lord. And when we are doing it in the association of devotees, so we are indirectly serving the devotees. Serving the devotees is serving the Lord himself. And when we are honoring Krishna Prasadam, we are again remembering the Lord by way of honoring the Prasadam. And in the same way, when we are doing the deity service or the service to the Lord in the Dham, we are again remembering the Lord. So each and everything is a different way of remembering the Lord. So the more we remember, the better. So that the formula which the Lord says, Antakalecha Mameva. The word Eva is very important. He says that when you remember me alone, you can come back to me. Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. That Eva is very important, which means if I remember 99.99% Lord Krishna and 0.01% Aishwarya Rai, I am failed. So the pass mark is 100%. For that pass mark of 100%, we need to remember the Lord as much as possible, as long as possible, in as many activities as possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Just like how we are eating food, it nourishes a full body.
Yeah,
likewise, there are different types. So that is the okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. So he says that Lord Krishna says that when you read my scriptures, you are worshipping me with your intelligence. It is said in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So when we are reading the scriptures, we are serving the Lord by our intelligence. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. So no further questions. I believe no one has to ask anything more. So we'll end the session here. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. We'll
Hare
do the
Krishna,
Vaishnava
Mataji.
Pranam mantra and then end the session. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you all the
Hare Krishna,
devotees.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
End the session,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Dandavat
Mataji.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
You would
Prabhu.
like to have one more class, Prabhuji?
Yeah, definitely. We'll call Prabhuji again. Hari Bol.
Yes. Hari Bol.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji's. Thank you, Prabhuji's. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.